Get ready for the biggest cinematic showdown of the year. The Cannes Film Festival is officially rolling out the red carpet, and things are already heating up with major controversy surrounding artificial intelligence and a Hollywood boycott. Director Thierry Frémaux is sounding the alarm, warning that the rise of AI is threatening the livelihoods of voice actors and screenwriters, and he is proposing a new labeling system for films to clearly mark those created without artificial intelligence. We dive into the intense debate happening right now about technology reshaping the creative industry and what it means for the future of filmmaking.
Stop using your finger for notes, sketches, and edits. This Jam Jake stylus pen gives your iPad a smoother, more precise writing feel with palm rejection so your hand can rest naturally on the screen. It charges fast, works for hours, and comes with replacement tips. Perfect for school, work, or creative projects. Check the link in the comments to grab it on Amazon.
But the tension isn't just off-screen. We look at the explosive collaboration between director Steven Soderbergh and the tech giant Meta, as he used AI-generated footage of John Lennon and Yoko Ono for his documentary, sparking serious questions about the ethics of using AI in major productions. This scandal ties directly into the widespread warnings from thousands of French actors and directors who are calling AI tools a devouring hydra that is robbing talent across the entire industry. Meanwhile, major Hollywood studios are largely avoiding the action this year, with only 2 American entrants competing for the Palme d'Or, which has left the field open for international auteurs like Pedro Almodovar. However, Cannes president Iris Knobloch is making a powerful statement, arguing that what has changed isn't Cannes' relationship with Hollywood, but Hollywood itself, pointing out that there are almost as many American films as usual, and that the festival is now an unrivaled launchpad for global cinema. The 79th Cannes Film Festival kicks off today with massive competition, featuring films like James Gray's Paper Tiger and Paul Polakowski's Homeland, with South Korean director Park Chan-wook leading the jury alongside stars like Demi Moore and Stellan Skarsgård. This is more than just a festival. It is a global ecosystem where cinema is proving its power, and we'll keep tracking how this event is redefining the landscape of film and culture. The Cannes Film Festival has officially commenced its annual event in France, setting the red carpet alight amidst significant industry turbulence driven by the rise of artificial intelligence and a notable absence of major Hollywood studios. 22 films are currently competing for the coveted Palme d'Or, following last year's win by Jafar Panahi's political Iranian film. It was just an accident. Despite the glamour of the festival, off-screen discussions are heavily focused on the disruptive influence of AI and Hollywood's decision to boycott the event. Director Thierry Frémaux has voiced strong opposition to artificial intelligence, citing growing job losses for voice actors and translators, and expressing deep concern among screenwriters and actors regarding their professional futures. Frémaux asserted that the festival remains committed to supporting artists and professionals, proposing a future system where films are labeled similarly to organic products, stating, "We will say, this film was created without artificial intelligence." In a move that signals a complex balancing act, the festival announced a multi-year sponsorship agreement with the technology giant and AI investor Meta. This development is set against a backdrop of controversy surrounding director Steven Soderbergh's upcoming film, John Lennon, The Last Interview. Soderbergh collaborated with Meta to utilize AI-generated footage of John Lennon and Yoko Ono, a move that echoes the concerns raised during the 2023 Hollywood strikes, where industry professionals warned that unregulated technology was eroding talent across the sector. Thousands of French actors and directors recently issued an open letter warning that AI tools are robbing talent, likening the technological shift to a devouring hydra. While Soderbergh is among the few Hollywood luminaries attending this year, major figures like Steven Spielberg and Christopher Nolan were notably absent from the festival program. Major Hollywood studios are reportedly steering clear of this year's Cannes Film Festival, which commenced today. The event is traditionally recognized as Hollywood's most glamorous international showcase, yet this year, the American contingent is notably sparse. Only 2 American films are currently competing for the prestigious Palme d'Or, both described as relatively small productions financed outside the United States. Industry observers suggest that premiering a film at Cannes relinquishes marketing control from the studios. This is underscored by the recent experience of the 2023 Indiana Jones reboot, which reportedly faced harsh criticism from Cannes reviewers and subsequently underperformed at the box office. Hollywood's reduced presence has opened the stage to international auteurs, with Pedro Almodovar's return being a particularly anticipated development among attendees. Despite the absence of major studio entries, the festival's director expressed hope that studio films will return in the future. The relationship between the Cannes Film Festival and Hollywood is undergoing a fundamental shift, according to Iris Knobloch, the festival's president. Despite potential changes in studio presence, Knobloch asserts that the core dynamic is not about Cannes' relationship with Hollywood, but rather about Hollywood itself, grappling with consolidation, evolving viewing habits, and the disruption of AI. Knobloch maintains that Cannes remains an unrivaled launchpad for American independent cinema, citing the 11 U.S. titles in this year's official selection and the success of films like Sean Baker's Anora at the Oscars. She argues that cinema is no longer compartmentalized. It is an open ecosystem where global perspectives converge. This year's lineup reflects this global shift, featuring 6 films from Asia, 1 from Congo, and 4 from Spain. Furthermore, international talent is increasingly populating productions, with examples including Christian Mungiu's English-language debut, Fjord, starring Renate Reinsve and Sebastian Stan, and Hong Jin-na's Hope, featuring Michael Fassbender and Alicia Vikander. Cannes has transcended its role as merely a festival, becoming deeply embedded in global pop culture and imagination, evidenced by productions like Season 4 of Mike White's The White Lotus, shooting on location. When addressing the perceived decline in star power, Knobloch emphasized that the focus is shifting from competition slots to access to financing for gender parity. She noted that the real change is generational, with more women directors emerging, and the focus is on access to funding rather than just visibility. Regarding the industry's broader transformation, Knobloch acknowledged that American studios are in a transitional phase marked by consolidation and risk aversion, sometimes leading to a reluctance to participate in festivals. However, she stressed that Cannes' strength lies in its commitment to artistic excellence and its role in amplifying films that might otherwise remain confined to niche audiences, allowing diverse perspectives to travel globally. Concerning the festival's governance, Knobloch affirmed Cannes independence as a nonprofit with public funding, explicitly stating that sponsors have no influence. She also addressed the red carpet dress code, explaining that rules regarding clothing and nudity are primarily logistical, ensuring smooth movement and adherence to French law, rather than an attempt to dictate fashion or impose taste. Paris, France, the 79th Cannes Film Festival officially commenced today, Tuesday, marking the start of one of the world's most prestigious cinematic events. The festival is scheduled to run until the 23rd of this month, drawing a significant assembly of international film stars and filmmakers. The opening night features the world premiere of the French film, The Electric Kiss, directed by Pierre Salvadori, signaling the festival's ongoing commitment to sophisticated European cinema characterized by artistic and comedic depth. This year's competition is set to be intense, with 22 films vying for the coveted Palme d'Or. Major contenders include James Gray's Paper Tiger, starring Scarlett Johansson, Adam Driver, and Miles Teller, and Paul Polakowski's Homeland, featuring Sandra Hurler and Hans Zeichler. The selection process is overseen by a distinguished 9-member jury, headed by South Korean director Park Chan-wook, known for his work on films like Old Boy and Decision to Leave. The jury boasts a roster of major figures in global cinema, including American actress Demi Moore, Chinese director Chloe Zhao, and Swedish actor Stellan Skarsgård, who will ultimately decide the winner of the Palme d'Or.